I wonder how long in my lifetime I will see Trump derangement syndrome. How long till after he passes will he still be rent-free in people's head? It will never pass. Media narratives are incredibly difficult to reverse. Once people believe something and make it a part of their identity, it is almost impossible to get them to understand the truth. You could sit people down, conclusively demonstrate that every part of the story they believe is a lie, and these people will reject your information. What can I even say about that? Yeah, they're not wrong. They're right. This video brought to you by my YouTube members and patrons. Thank you guys. How's it going, everybody, and welcome back to another subreddit video, and welcome to the new apartment. You're going to be seeing this get a little bit nicer over the next week or so. It's still a little bit of a mess in here with all the boxes and stuff because we just moved in. Members got to see this place a little bit early on Monday's member video, which, by the way, if you want an extra video every single week, YouTube members, low as £1 a month. Anyway, new apartment. Also, forgive the lack of war paint, probably for the next couple weeks. It is so warm in the UK at the moment. We're going through a massive heat wave right now. It's probably the hottest week of the year. Also, apologies if I end up getting really sweaty and gross in this video. That's why. Today we're going to be taking a look at r/SelfAwareWolves. This is a subreddit dedicated to, you know, the alt-right when they say things and they don't quite realize that exactly what it is they're describing or saying, you know? They don't realize just how accurate they're being. Let's take a look, shall we? No kings, but put your mask on. No kings, but lock us down. No kings, but I'm firing you for not vaccinating. No kings, but you can't go outside. No kings, but we don't accept your exemption. No kings, but you need 12,380 boosters. No kings, but we're shutting down. No kings, but we're shutting your business down. No kings, but you can't worship the real king. No kings, but your family members will die alone. No kings, but I'm opening a hotline so you can tattle on your neighbor. No kings, but mandates galore. No kings, but you're responsible for my health. No kings, but social distance at 6 feet apart. No kings, but no family gatherings over 10. The hypocrisy is astounding. Who is actually the tyrant here? Hey Siri, when was Biden sworn in?
Joe Biden was sworn in as the 46th President of the United States on the 20th of January, 2021.
20th of January, 2021, she said. Hey Siri, when were COVID lockdowns in the US?
Do you want me to use chat?
Yes.
Here's an answer from ChatGPT.
Are you gonna read it out or what? No? Hey Siri, when were the COVID lockdowns in the US?
Here's an answer from ChatGPT.
Hey Siri, read it.
This page is not set up for me to read.
What the f? She can literally read these. You're ruining my joke, Siri. Basically, Biden was sworn in 2021 and the COVID lockdowns were in 2020. This person's an idiot. This was all Trump's doing. But also, it wasn't even Trump's doing because nothing was mandated on a federal level. This was all just states and like local areas doing different things. Nothing was literally mandated by law. I was trying to do a funny bit and Siri just ruined it. Also, they really love exaggerating, like, oh, 12,380 boosters. There were 4 boosters at most, and most people weren't even recommended to get all 4 boosters. Come on, come on. Also, they love the, you can't worship the real king, you know, they love playing the victim, like, oh, we can't, Christianity's banned, we can't worship the real king, we can't worship our God, despite the fact that there's literally a faith office in the White House and that pretty much every president in the history of the United States has been Christian. Yeah, you're really persecuted, aren't you? Iran crossed red lines by firing missiles at civilian centers, Israeli Defense Minister says. Israeli Defense Minister Israel Katz said Iran crossed red lines by firing missiles at civilian population centers and vowed it would pay a very heavy price for its actions. Where have I heard this before? Where have I heard bombing civilians and civilian centers before? Strange that Israel would be calling out a country for doing that, isn't it? Strange. I mean, don't get me wrong. I don't agree with any country doing this. I think it's wrong that Iran would do this. I also think it's wrong that Israel does this and is actively doing this. So it's a little bit rich for them to be calling out another country for doing it, isn't it? There's a genocide going on. Israel is actively bombing the shit out of Palestine. So that's going on. And now, as soon as they get a taste of their own medicine, they're like, this is wrong. How dare they do this? There will be prices to pay. Like, total hypocrisy there. You know, if you think it's wrong, probably shouldn't be doing it yourself. Maybe. Liberals are a cult. Signs you're in a cult. The leader is never wrong. Criticizing/questioning the leader is considered persecution. Anything the leader does is justified. The leader is the only source of truth. Followers must be blindly devoted. God, if that isn't projection. I can dispel this about, left wings and liberals really easily here. Quite simply, name a single leader of the Democrat Party in the United States, or for that matter, from Labour or the Liberal Democrats, either of those two parties in the UK. Name a single leader from those parties that the supporters of those parties wouldn't immediately get rid of if presented with a better leader, right? Joe Biden wasn't perfect. No one says he was. They simply say that he was the better option of the two options they were given out of Joe Biden and Trump. If given a better Democrat option, they would have gone for it. Like, no one's blindly supporting Biden. That's something that's happening with Trump exclusively. We can see this perfectly highlighted at the moment by the fact that, the Republican Party, they've just suddenly decided, oh no, there's no Epstein list. That doesn't exist. That was never a thing. And people are genuinely asking, if Trump was on that Epstein list, would you still support him? And the responses are yes. I can pull up multiple posts right this second. Editor me, pull up those posts, put them on screen, of people saying that they would still support Trump if they knew he was on that list, or if he did something personally to their own daughters. So who's the blind cult followers here? Because last time I checked, only one party has people worshipping their leader. So this is a tweet from J.K. Rowling, and well, you'll see. This is a great one. Narcissists can't do humor. You have to have a stable sense of self to laugh at yourself. If your self-image is so fragile, it requires other human beings to become flattering mirrors. The slightest distortion in a reflection feels like a potentially lethal attack. There's no way that this was made without being self-aware, right? Because this is just so perfectly summing up J.K. Rowling for the past 4 years. Come on. She's literally just been surrounding herself with yes men and throwing an internet tantrum when people don't agree with her transphobia. She's just describing herself here. She truly is. It's not a protest if there is looting. It's just an excuse to steal under the guise of a protest. Have you seen all the destruction? They're breaking apart stone pillars and using that as projectiles. Ultimately, their actions are hurting the citizens and taxpayers because someone's gonna have to pay to rebuild the city. No, I have not. It's hard finding videos that don't portray them as peaceful. The cognitive dissonance is strong. Even Leo gave me a look there. Imagine going, the protests are violent. It's not a protest if you're looting. It's just an excuse to steal. And then going, but I can't actually find any videos of the violence. Everything's portraying them as peaceful. So basically, you're making a claim. You're making a call and a decision on how you're viewing this based on how you want to view it, not based on the evidence you're actually being provided. Congratulations, you're a Republican, all right? I don't know if I'm going to read all of this one. I'm going to read as much of it as possible, but, I might bail early on this one because it's long. And, well, you'll see. This one, they contradict themselves and become a self-aware wolf really fast. So, the thing about my choice of women is that they cannot have a lot of fat on them. Women are objects, and I need to find a well-structured object to operate in whatever manner I wish. People mistakenly say they see me as controlling, but that is not correct at all. I see myself as owning the women I allow around me. They do not get to make any choices unless they are acceptable to me. They will play the role I assign to them, and they will change their breathing rhythm if I disapprove of it. I would want absolutely nothing to do with the fat Robin lady I saw, because I know for a fact she has lost all sense of caring about herself by letting herself pork up by... I'm not reading any more of this. So Second line in, he says women are objects. Fourth line in, he says people mistakenly will say they see me as controlling, but that is not correct at all. And then immediately after that, he says that he sees himself as owning women and talks about how they can only do actions that he approves of. But he's not controlling at all. That's not correct at all. People that see him as controlling, no, that's not correct at all. He's not controlling. He just sees women as property that he can control exactly how he wishes. That's not controlling. This person clearly has one brain cell rattling around their skull, and they've got like, you know, two pong paddles. One pong paddle is, people are wrong, I'm not controlling. And the other pong paddle is, I'm a misogynist and women are property. And it's just going boop, boop, boop. The one brain cell occasionally bouncing back and forth, and when it does, it fires a single thought, and they completely clash with each other because those two thoughts do not align in any way. ICE handles immigration. I have no idea why Redditors have worked themselves into a frenzy over ICE deporting US citizens who aren't MAGA. Like, bro, ICE sucks, we can all get behind that. But if you think ICE is going to deport US citizens over political disagreements, you are either deluded or a bot. Because ICE is obviously Trump's personal Gestapo. r/SelfAwareWolves. Yeah, I mean, yes, congratulations, you have just said exactly the situation that America is in. I love the person going, everyone's working themselves up about this, but like, Trump's not going to use ICE to deport like political disagreements, the people who are US citizens. Let's talk about the guy who's won the primary for New York for the Democrat Party, and the fact that Trump is already threatening to arrest and deport him because he's a liberal and Trump doesn't agree with his views. Literally what's happening. It's exactly the scenario that Trump is throwing the country into. And he's also massively funding ICE so that it will be the highest funded federal service in the US. Yeah, that's a real thing that's happening. And also giving them the power to, you know, enter people's homes without a warrant, arrest people without showing ID, literally forming a force of people that can do whatever they want without any pushback, and giving them the most funding, and then threatening to deport political opposition. Yes, literally is Trump's personal Gestapo. Congratulations, you figured it out. Imperial March starts playing over speakers everywhere. You do realize that song represents strength, order, and control. Something this country has been missing for the past 4 years. Media literacy truly is dead, isn't it? The Imperial March, I mean, sure, you can attribute those factors to the Imperial March, the same way that Mein Kampf is just about a guy trying to improve his country. Like, sure, those elements are there. It's also meant to be deliberately hostile and foreboding about the fact that the Empire and the song representing the Empire are literally based on the rise of the Nazi Party. It's meant to represent a militaristic force that has taken over an entire empire by force. So yeah, you know, if you want to compare that to the US and you think that's a good thing, maybe you should do a little bit more reading. This one's funny because this was on r/Gen X and someone posted, "We are getting dangerously close to becoming the next boomers." Enough already with the "we are the most badass generation" ranting. This is exactly the type of talk that turned everyone off from the baby boomers. And just classically, this post got locked by a mod who said, "Another post getting locked because the children in the room can't stop flapping about the current US administration." LPT, if y'all put half the effort you do crying about Trump into actually changing crap liberal ideologies, alienating the moderates, you might actually have a chance of winning the midterm elections in 2026, which would be a blow to your self-proclaimed king. Classic that someone said, hey, Generation Xers, we need to stop, you know, being idiots and saying we're the best generation and complaining about young people and liberals, because that's exactly what boomers did and no one likes the boomers. Just for the mod to be like, everybody's whining, I'm gonna put you all aside because I voted for Trump. Like, also, it's classic for him to say that liberals are alienating the moderates. If a liberal has alienated the moderates and not a literal fascist attempt, you know, they literally attempted a coup, they invaded the US Capitol, and now Trump is literally launching fascism, and that's not alienating the moderates. Newsflash, you were never a moderate to begin with if those kinds of things are not a red flag to you. Just saying. Also, extra newsflash, the Democrats in the US literally are not even left-wing. Compare them to the left-wing parties of any other country. They are right of center. They are not left-wing. Liberals are not alienating people by going vote for the Democrats. They're going, hey, maybe vote for the less right-wing of the two right-wing parties in the country. When you hear about the laptop class, the people with AirPods, college degrees, and good jobs that require them to have 3 roommates in their 30s, this is them. They're the most privileged class of workers ever produced by capitalism, and they want to end it. Voting for Mamdani won't do that, but it at least shows you trying. How the yuppies became socialists. Now, is it privileged? Is it being privileged to have a college degree and a well-paying job and to still require 3 roommates to get by? It's not privilege to say, I have a college degree and a well-paying job and I can't get by without having 3 roommates. Maybe there's an issue with the system I live in. That's common sense. Also, it shows how out of touch the people that make posts like this are, that they talk about, the laptop class with their AirPods. Oh, you have AirPods? That's the reason you can't afford rent and a house. Like, AirPods are what, £200? You buy a pair of AirPods, what, every 2 to 3 years? If that? Probably not even that for most people. That's less than £100 a year. That's less than £10 a month. That's not the reason that people can't afford rent and have to live with 3 roommates. The reason they can't afford rent and have to live with 3 roommates, the economy has been so massively f***ed by previous generations that no one can afford it. Housing is at the highest it's ever been, and it has blown completely out of proportion to inflation and wages. It has not tracked to wages at all. The cost of living has not tracked to wages at all. The cost of living is so drastically higher than any other generation before us. That's the reason people are saying, maybe this era of capitalism we're in isn't working, because, newsflash, it's not working. Also, the other thing that shows you how out of touch these people are is they commonly refer to technology as like, oh, you have AirPods? Well, you're clearly not that poor. But the thing is, in the last decade, in the last 2 decades, technology has improved so fast that prices have decreased so fast, right? We have so much more technology in our lives that is so much more affordable than it used to be, okay? We are literally technologically rich. Everyone can afford a mobile phone. 20 years ago, it was rare for most people to have a mobile phone. That's normal now because it's affordable. Technology is affordable in that regard. On the flip side, houses are not. Houses are not even close to affordable. And even if you could afford a house, chances are now you'll be rejected a mortgage for it. And then the mortgage rates will be so insane that you won't be able to afford them in 10 years anyway, because the entire economy is collapsing because of the richest people. So yeah, call me privileged for, considering the fact that capitalism is literally weighted against everybody in the modern era, apart from those who were established into it 30 to 40, maybe even 50 years ago. Like, I guess that makes me a yuppie socialist, doesn't it? But that is where I'm going to end the video. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. I hope you have enjoyed. If you would like to support me in making more content like this and making sure that I don't need to live with 3 roommates, please do consider joining the Patreon in the description down below, or clicking the join button on the channel to support me. It helps a lot more than you might realize, but by no means should you feel like you have to. I'm going to keep making content regardless. I'm struggling to talk now. I have been talking way too fast for way too long. YouTube members and patrons, you get an extra video every single week for as low as £1. So please do consider that. Other than that, thank you so much for watching, everybody. I hope you have enjoyed. And as always, I will see you in the next video. Peace out.